Welcome back. This is Rabbi Yosef Chaim Mimran again on Daat Elokim, an explanation of the Kitva Arizal. This is really a kitzor of a kitzor. But let's continue. We're on page Chav Tet. And he says, Nachzor le'orot ha'chotem. We're going to go back to the lights which are coming out from the Kivyochol, from this moshel called the Chotem. Hine. כאן בחותם קרבו יותר רואות פנימיים עם עקיפים, כי נקבי החותם הוא יותר קרובים זה לזה מנקבי האוזניים, אבל כיוון שעדיין לא נדבקו לגמרי, לכן גם בהם לא הייתם בחינת כלים, אין האורות בבד. As we explain, as the lights, what's the difference between the kelim, vessels, and light? Because vessels, light is light. Vessels come through the formation when there is a zivug, a connection between two lights banging into each other. They create a vessel. So when the lights were coming up from the oznaim, there was no connection between the two lights, or panimim or makif did not touch, no kelim. Here's well, even though the lights are coming from the right side and the left side of the oznai, or from the chotem, they're still not touching. Therefore, there's no kelim. Only once they come out simultaneously from the pit, that's when they're going to create the hakah and a kelim. אבל מה שניתוסף באורות חותם לעומת אורות אוזניים, because you might say, so what is the difference with the lights, whether they're coming from the אוזניים, there's no kelim, חותם as well, there's no kelim. So what is the difference, essentially? He says, כי אורות אוזניים היו שתי אותיות ד' וו', כוללת כל י' ספירות, הם מתחברים ונעשו אות ה' אחת. וכאן בחותם, נפרדו ונעשו שתי אותיות ד' and vav. So we see the difference. Because by those naim, how do you spell a hey? We remember why hey, because of the 5 patzuf, and the 5 patzuf represent the 10 sfirot, and so on and so forth. But what do we see from the hey? How do you spell hey? You spell a dalit and then a little vav. The dalit and the hey represents, well, dalit is 4, gematria 4, and the vav is 6. So 6 and 4 is 10. That represents the 10 sfirot. When they come out, they're all together. That's why the hey, that's why the letter hey, to represent that the 10 sfirot are one. Now, when they come up from those chotem, though, the dalit comes from one side and the vav comes from the other side. Okay? By those nine, hey came out from the right, hey came out from the left. There was no separation. Now we start seeing separation between the lights, which is a good indicator that the kelim are coming. Okay? That's what he says. But even though there was they haven't come together, therefore there is no kelim. And then saying, ki od vav eyod ne'elamed betoch od hey nal be'or ozen hu niglet ata bechotem v'yatzu lechutz ne'asis od bifnei atzmo. והנה הוו זו שנתגלה כאן הוא בסוד זעמפין, ונגלה ויצא ממעי אימו לחוץ, וכנוד הביצוע ד' זה עוד יוד הוויה, אמנם לא ניגע לבחינת עוד אחת, הנקרא וו, אלא נתחלקו לבו חלקים ונקודות היו כלולים עוד וו, והם וו אלפים באורות ובאורות הפה נתגלה ד' הד' כלולות באות ה' בצורת ד' אלפים. So what is he saying over here? So we had a od dalet coming from the right hand side of the chotem, a vav which represents the lights, 6 lights which are coming out from the left hand side. Now vav, when you compare it, remember the erke kinuyim that we spoke about in the first class, very, very, very important. Vav represents, in language of patzufim, it represents and it's corresponding to the patzuf of zer ampin. Remember the 5 patzufim. Again, you have to know this clear. Balpeh. The atik arech is consisted of one. You have Abba, Ima, zer ampin, and nukva. Zer ampin would be the 4th down the line. Now, in Zeampim is made out of 6 sfirot. Okay, these are just facts. You have to learn them. You have to memorize them. Zeampim is made up of 6 sfirot. Chesed, Gvur, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod. Now, these 6 sfirot is represented by the vav coming on the left-hand side. That's Zeampim. Okay, now, that's what we're seeing over here. And the way it's being represented is by 6 alephs, because each one represents, aleph is 1, so you have 6 ones. That means you have 6 individual sfirot. Again, they're not coming out like that, but they're coming out as vav, but they represent 6 sfirot. That means we're breaking down the light slowly but surely as we're going lower and lower. Let's continue. Now we're going to go to the lower level, which is the peh. טעם מתחתון האור דר הפה. אך אגר יוצא אור דר הפה של האק, לחוץ ואור זהו בחינת הטעמים התחתונים דסג. אותם שלמטה מן האותיות. ומה שנתחדש כאן הוא שהוא ריחוק מקום בקביעותם גורם שיוכלו את התחתון לקבלו. ולכן יוצאו כאן אורות פנימיים ומקיפים מחובר מיחד דרך פתח אחד, דהיינו הפה, וכן וכיוון שנחברו יש יכולות לקבלו ולהשיגם. So they come down the lights that were separated at one point from the chotem coming closer. Now in the pit, they're finally coming together to create kalim. Well, so why is that so important? We said kalim represents tikkun. That means you have a casing now for the light. The light can identify itself and can be apparent now, because light, just for the sake of light, is not apparent. We don't know where's the beginning of light, where's the end of light, what's the shape of light. But once it takes this form of a keli, it's like you're putting, ice into a mold. You'll see the mold; it comes alive. So why is that again so important? Because us as human beings, as is referred to as, we are the tachtonim, the lowest of levels. In order for us to be Kabbalah light, why we want to make Kabbalah light? Because that's shefa, that's blessing, that's everything that we need to survive is blessing. This is what we're talking about over here. In order to make Kabbalah that, we have to have it in a keli. That means the filters have to be there. Like I always say, the moshel, if you're hot in the summer and you want cold air, you turn on the air conditioner. But don't think you're so clever and say, the air conditioner is still not cold enough. I'm going to go straight to the source, to the electrical box, and stick my fingers in there, and I'll get the electricity direct. I don't need this box called the air conditioning. Well, the answer to that, it's going to up it. You're going to die. Well, the simple reason is that that's too strong. It's not in a keli. It's just pure energy without a filter, called, in our mashal here, an air conditioning box won't get you the results that you need, because you're not built that way. If you were an air conditioning box, then you can fit into a socket and receive that energy directly. But again, that's the moshel and that's the nimshal. That's what we need the kalim in order to memide the or, to lessen the light, in order that we should. It's for us to get it. And then he says on page Lamed Aleph, v'hine kevan shnechabu or makif v'or penimi. או פני או מקי בתוך הפה, נמשך בזה ביצירת החוץ לפה, קשורים מחוברים יצאו, לכן יהיו מקים בפתיש שבזה ומולידים בחינת הכלים. So again, just repeating what we just said, the lights are coming out together, or maki or penima, they're hitting each other and creating kelim. The benefits, as I just mentioned earlier on. Orot ape nimshachim mitzpashim ad mokum tibur shel ak, and then they continue onwards until the tibur de ak. Now, much further down to the belly button. Kiviyachol. Again, there's no belly button up there. Afa pi sheikol shelo or ze hu mash nitzpashet beyosha keneged apiv shel adam kamon velemata im kol ze orot mitzpashim gam el atzadim saviv leak. So we explained that even though the lights are coming out directly from the mouth all the way down to the tibul of Ak, but that's the main flow. He is also mentioning the Arisa, that the light is mispashed all around Ak, like an aura around Ak. The light is spewing out of this gorgeous, fantastic, powerful light, which is coming out and then drizzling down in order to give shefa to the tachtonim. Okay, that's the way it looks over here. And let's just go a little bit further. Now, since the kelim now at this point have been developed, now the light is going to be divided into 2 parts, which are actually 4. What does it mean? So we have 2 different ages. The light is now encapsulated into kelim. So that's 2. Od klulim gam mishnayim or panim or makiv. This is another 2 bechinas. Vechen, Klulim, Kelim, Mishnaim, and also the Kelim. Kelim also can be divided into two parts, the exterior part and the pini part. Dalet Bechinot Ze'elehem, Giloi Otam Dalet Alafim Shai Klulim Be'ot Dalet. Remember we said there's a Vav on the right-hand side and a Dalet on the right-hand side? Those are the Dalet Bechinot we're speaking about. Kamosh Zkalnu Be'ot Chotem. Dalet Alafim Elu, that Dalet, that those four dimensions, which comes out as four aleph, Shnaimem Tzurim. So we have four alephs because of the Dalet coming out from the right hand side of the Chotem. Are now you're going to have four different ways to write aleph. One is Yud, Vav. That's number one. Ve'em shtei bechinot shebe'orot. Shnayim me'em tzurim. Yud, Vav, Dalet upside down. Ve'em shtei bechinot kelim. V'arbatam yatzu arshav min apeh. So I made a mistake. So it's not that you're spelling aleph four different ways. There's two ways to spell aleph. The first way, as we said, you put a yud on the top, yud on the bottom, and a vav. That's the first way. Those represent two levels of lights, or panima or makiv. The other way to spell the aleph is vav in the middle, yud on top, and an upside down dalet. That's another way. That represents the two levels of kelim. So you see the complexity over here. And the reason why it's so complex, to show you that HaKadosh Baruch Hu took time to develop the world with absolute exact science. And that's why you see Kaviyachol with science, that it's so complicated, all these large mathematical equations in physics to explain, concepts, gravity and relativity. And well, that's what it's all about. Hashem did not create the world as simple as we thought, but spent time and effort and energy to create a very complex world in order for us to understand that Hashem is wonderful and powerful. They can even the littlest detail, like the greatest artist, in order to give us the perfect world. Okay, so we'll stop it here for now, and then we'll continue with the Daat Elokim.